Just so you know, I'm going to try and put more effort into my post screenings by making short scripted reviews like this one instead of rambling incoherently for 15 minutes. Also, I have a bit of a sore throat right now, so bear with me. With that out of the way, on with the review. If you asked me who my favorite director was, I wouldn't have an answer because I don't really have a favorite director. There are directors I like and follow, whether it's because they churn out consistently good quality films one after another, or if they have a very distinct style that sets them apart from the crowd. But if you had to ask me who I thought the most underrated director working in Hollywood today would be, I'd say Darren Aronofsky. For those who don't know, Darren Aronofsky is the director of movies like Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, and Black Swan. The Wrestler is a pretty straightforward and down-to-earth movie, but Pi, Requiem for a Dream, and Black Swan are extremely stylized and show the talent and unique vision of a director who I think should be a lot more famous than he is. For this reason, I was excited for his new movie, Mother. One thing to keep in mind going into this movie is that it's not really a horror movie, but more of an artsy psychological drama. On the superficial level, I like the way the film looks. It has a gritty, film grain look to it that I really like. The first half of the film is pretty slow, but towards the end, things start getting pretty crazy. Another tip I can give you to help understand the movie is to not take everything literally. I can see why a lot of people hate this movie. Going into this movie completely blind would definitely catch a lot of people off guard and leave them with no idea with what they just saw. I've heard different interpretations of this movie. YourMovieSucks.org thinks the movie is supposed to show a nightmare. A look into the psyche of a woman with a strained relationship and a fear of becoming a mother. While this interpretation definitely does have some merit, I personally favor Chris Stuckman's interpretation more, his being that Javier Bardem's character represents God, and Jennifer Lawrence represents Mother Earth. To me, there is plenty of evidence that this interpretation is credible. I haven't seen Aronofsky's previous film, Noah, but from what I understand, it's the story of Noah's Ark with a lot of creative liberties taken. This religious trend could easily carry over into Mother. There's a lot of blatant symbolism, like how the first 30 minutes mimic the stories of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. Javier Bardem, God, describes himself as a creator since he's a writer. Jennifer Lawrence, as Mother Earth, has been renovating their house. The first guest to arrive is a man, the second is the man's wife. The next two are their sons, and one of the sons kills the other. As the film goes on, more people show up and slowly start destroying the house Mother Earth has created, but God doesn't want them to leave, because they're all fans of his work, and are there because they love him, so he forgives their mistakes. Oftentimes, when Mother Earth tells people to leave, they shrug her off by saying something like, "Your house." This tells me the film seems to be simultaneously conveying some sort of environmental message and religious commentary. Without spoiling anything else, there's a lot more subtle details that I think support this interpretation. My advice for watching this movie is to watch it as if you're watching, Eraserhead. Eraserhead is also a very weird, heavily symbolic movie where not everything is meant to be taken literally. It's almost impossible to determine the exact meaning of every single detail the film presents, but if you generally understand what the film is going for thematically, you'll be able to put the pieces together and create your own interpretation that works for you. David Lynch himself claims that he hasn't read a single correct interpretation of Eraserhead, yet the film still has legions of fans that connect with and are inspired by it. My only other piece of advice is that if you're squeamish at all, proceed with caution, because there's some pretty fucked up shit in this movie, but nothing as bad as the ass-to-ass scene in Requiem for a Dream. Overall, Mother is a wild ride that'll leave audiences bewildered and guessing. If you want to see something different that'll give you something to think about, check it out. I'm gonna give Mother an 8 out of 10 for now, since my opinion on it may change with time.